So I really missed you guys.
We miss you too.
Yeah, we missed you too. Thank you for coming back.
The topic today is really important, I think, to all of us business owners, and I know that a lot of you heard about blogging, but not many of you really know how to use it to your business. So I invited a friend of mine who's also in my BNI chapter. She's a great resource for that, among other stuff. And I want to bring here Salle Hayden. And Salle is a lot of things. She's very talented with words. She's very, very funny. She's a singer, right? And I'll let you hear her stories here. Please, Salle.
In a minute.
Oh, I guess I can't use the end of this one.
You need no, there is another table.
Oh.
You need a table.
I just need a tiny little table.
Okay, there's a black table over here.
Would a chair work? You need a table.
A chair would work.
All you need to do is just ask.
Instead of my glasses. Ah, that's perfect. Let's see if we can knock the speaker over. Yes, that's a good idea. And then come over and knock the speaker over. Wonderful.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
My name is Salle Hayden, and I have done so many kinds of things that if you've met me more than once, then you know how many multiple personalities I have. But something that I used to do, and so I guess I'm kind of not necessarily an up-to-date expert, but I am an expert more than most people. I did some blogging, and so I was trying to figure out how am I going to keep control of this group, because being another thing that I am is a teacher, and you have to engineer the classroom. So how am I going to maintain their attention? Believe me, I know how to do this. I was a teacher in Japan to junior high school kids. I kept their attention on me and off their hormones and each other. So I know how to do this, but I thought maybe I will withhold the notes until after I'm finished, and that way they have to listen to me, and then they can, but I've gotten over that. I have 75 copies. If you don't get a copy of the notes, don't despair, because I have a sign-up sheet in the back where you can get a copy of the notes, and you can also get a copy of the of my excerpts from the blogs, one of the blogs that I ran, to give you some idea about what kind of things that you can write about. So keep in mind that you can always get that. So, yeah, my name is Salle Hayden, and I spell it with an E, because in junior high school I decided I was sick and tired of being Dick and Jane's little sister, and I wanted to be very bohemian and artistic, so I spell it like a French word, and then I found out the French word means dirty and also room. Sometimes we make bad choices. Okay, so the what, where, when, who, why, and how of blogging. What is blogging? Blogging means, it came from the words web log, and I think everybody in here is probably old enough to have seen, at least in reruns, Star Trek, and you know about the captain's log, star date, blah, 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 and all of the things that happened, and which guy died that day. So logging is keeping track of things, doing a kind of a journal. And that's what blogging started out to be, was how to write a kind of a journal so that other people could have access to that journal. But it has some reasons for business people, whether you have a small business of your own or whether you are a representative of a larger business. It has reasons why you would like to be a blogger. And the main validation. Validation of you as an expert in your field. So you know that you can do something, or that you have something or a service that you really want to share with the world, and you know a lot about it so much that you can't put it into a 30-second elevator speech. You can't put it into a 2-minute infomercial. But what you can do is you can put all the backdrop, all the background of how you found out about this and why you're so good at it in a blog. And then you can use that blog to direct people to, so that they understand, oh yeah, that guy really does know his business. Also, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. There's somebody in this world who wants to know what you know, who's not as good as you are at what it is that you do. And so this is a very good way to share. It also becomes a kind of a marketing tool because of being able to lead people to the blog. It's more casual than a newsletter. You don't have to have a particular format, and you don't have to do it on a regular schedule. As a matter of fact, blogging is better if it's not on a regular schedule. If it's random, the spiders that are crawling over your sites looking for, they used to look for keywords, now they're looking for phrases that link things together. The spiders, if you have a blog that you put something in and it's 153 words every single Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, they will ignore you because they'll think that that's manufactured somehow. But if you post on an irregular schedule, it's much easier for those spiders to look at what you say, look at the phrasing that you use and all of the things that you say, and say, aha, this is somebody who should be on page 1 of my search engine, whichever that one that might be. So who should blog? Everybody. There are people who are getting rich because they blog about being a parent in a manual-less world. There is no manual to bring up kids, but there are parenting blogs that can really help you. It's kind of like a peer group that you can work with. There are some optimal lengths of blog posts. First of all, we used to post for a 13-inch screen, and then it went to a 15-inch screen, and then it went to a 17-inch screen, and now it's a 75-inch screen, or 3-inch screen. So people don't have a very good attention span, and part of this is because the people not in this room, of course, but the people who have been brought up on television are used to 15-second spots, and if that doesn't grab them, then off to somewhere else, off to something else. So a really good, meaty, content-rich blog post can be between 50 to 200 words. If it's more than 200 words, you need to scroll down, even on the large screens, in many cases. But on the small screens, it's like, oh, I'm getting an ache in my thumb from reading this. And then they go off somewhere else. Say, it's like I didn't write this down on here, but I'm just thinking, it's kind of like journalism too. The important thing in a blog should be at the beginning. You want to answer the who, what, when, where, why in maybe the first sentence, or at least the very first paragraph, because they might not go all the way to the end. But if you can trick them, if you can tell them da 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 da, and then blah 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 blah, and then a joke at the end, anybody who gets all the way to the end is going to go all the way to the end every single time you post. The value that you give is the value that they want. There are 3 ways that you can make money using a blog. One is charge a member fee. or you could sell something on your blog, either a PDF or longer articles about whatever you do, products, books, whatever it is that you do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your book. One very nice way to raise yourself on the search engines with a blog is to put a link to a book that is related to what you're doing, but is on Amazon, for instance. Somebody you really admire, and that you've received, you've used as your resource material. You put that link on there, just like on Twitter where they put links instead of writing original stuff. I do that. But anyway, that is one way to raise your credibility and to raise your visibility. The third way is to set up, either through one of the search engines, set up an ad system so that you can do a click for pay. And if somebody decides that there's an ad that is surrounding your material that they like, they click, then you get paid for that. The same as if you were posting something on your car or on the side of your house that wasn't graffiti. Joys and pain of blogging. There will come a day when you'll say, oh, why am I doing this? What am I doing here? Nobody has responded. Nobody has commented on my last 75 posts. So what am I doing here? And perhaps the next day, you'll say, oh, I just thought of something really cool that I want to share with somebody. I don't care who. I don't care how many. So there are a lot of possible topics. Any ideas? What's a good topic for a blog?
Gardening.
Gardening is a good topic for a blog, as you read off of my sheet. Thank you very much for cheat sheets. What else?
Fitness.
The dangers of,
Ah, beautiful. The stages.
No, the dangers of genetically engineered food.
Ah, GMO. Okay, the danger of genetically engineered food. If you are really passionate about that, that's something that you could talk about. Somebody over here was married. Marriage. Or how many marriages. And what you've learned from that. Okay. I have on the excerpts, which I said are on the back table, how a blog validates your work. Make sure that you understand this. The best intentions for having a weblog are, 1, to share information about what is to you, what it is you do. I'm sorry, I can't read my writing. Could be how to do it or how to judge it or how to value it. 2, reach your target audience more casually than an e-zine or a newsletter. 3, build credibility in your field. 4, to gain greater visibility. And 5, start to put together the bones of what may be a book, which of course will increase 3, which we remember is building credibility, and 4, virtual visibility, and certainly assist you in 1, getting that information out. So it's 16 minutes so far, and I'm kind of...
Question and
Do you have any questions? Jerry.
When you mentioned the link to Amazon, did you also mean that they have an affiliate program where they pay you if somebody makes that purchase?
I'm not sure what Amazon does, but there may be something like that set up so that you can get paid if they link from you to Amazon. Yeah, sure. That's a 4th way. Okay. Somebody else, ma'am. Yes.
How long does it take you to set up your blog?
Very good question. How long does it take to set up a blog?
3 years.
If you have... Jerry, I'm the speaker. If you have a great deal of knowledge about the computer and how it thinks, then it could take you an hour to 2 hours. There are, when I first started, it took me a long time because I was learning out how to do it as well. It took me probably about 5 hours for my first blog, which was on Blogspot, that I couldn't get back to. I didn't remember how to get back to it. Then I got another blog, a second blog on Blogspot, and I very cleverly wrote down the information about how to get back to it. And so that one I blogged on for about a year. Actually, the first time that I heard the word blog was at a consumer electronics show in Las Vegas in January of 2006. And I was at I was standing around in a cocktail party. It was a reception for something about electronics, I think. Anyway, this guy and I were talking, and I was telling him what I like to do. And he listened very politely for a long time. which made me like him a lot, because I knew that he had good taste in who he was listening to. But then he said, well, because I was telling him I like to do this and I like to do that, he said, well, you ought to write a blog about that. I had never heard the word before, so I went to Wikipedia and I did some research. I asked about 3 dozen of my friends, what's that mean? And the person that I was at CES with as an assistant is my mentor, and I asked him, and he gave me some ideas, but he didn't think it was a very credible idea. And so, because he didn't think it was a very credible idea, it took me about 7 months before I even thought about doing something. Then I somehow on email, I got spam from Blogspot, and I said, oh, this sounds like an idea. Okay, so I went into Blogspot. As I said, the first one I lost. The second one, I very cleverly kept information so that I could get back to it. Now I have a wonderful, wonderful folder on my computer called Things to Remember, which is all about that long. It's longer than I am tall. The things that I need to remember. So when I went to SSA, when I went to all kinds of things. Every time I opened an account with somebody, things like that. And it's a very useful thing to do, except when my computer goes down. The third blog that I started was on something called WordPress. This is an amazing program because it's really user-friendly. It talks to you in American English. It's just great. And so WordPress is also being used by some people to develop websites as a website tool. But so they have, on WordPress, they have, something like 23 gazillion different kind of patterns that you can use, and it's really a wonderful place to go. So check out WordPress if you're thinking about going into writing a blog. The nice thing is that you can go into the back room and you can decide who can comment on your blog. You can decide who can see it. You can decide when you posted it. I'm thinking now, the last time I posted anything was probably in January 2011, so it's time for me to go back and post things for February, March, April, May for 2011, and 12 months for 2012. I can do that now because I know what I'm doing and because I know what I want to talk about. I can do that for 24 or 25 different posts, and then I can choose when it was supposed to have been posted. Very, very good. It's a very good thing. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to hear your thoughts on guest blogging.
Guest blogging?
Blogging on somebody else's blog. Do you have any thoughts on